Hello and welcome back to this channel. This time we will look on different ways for me to commute to work. The purpose is to become carbon dioxide neutral within just 1 year. And transportation is the biggest chunk of carbon dioxide for me. In this video, we will compare different means of transportation to compare to my usual way of commuting, which is by car. And I will try public transport, a bike, and an e-bike, each of them for a week, and then evaluate each of them. The best means of transportation I will then use for a whole year to go back and forth to my job. I'm aware this is one of my longer videos, so here's a short spoiler. As you can see, the e-bike won. It's surprisingly slightly better than even the car. The other alternatives were not that good. If you're interested to know how I derived here, so please stay tuned. And of course, we do this in a safe and structured manner. So we start with finding the right criteria. Here you have them. The time which commuting takes is important to me. The punctuality, the flexibility, so I want to go whenever I need to go. The cost, and of course the carbon dioxide emissions. My personal health, sustainability, from terms of that is it possible to do it all year round, the weather dependence, and my personal comfort. The next step is to prioritize those criteria. As you see, I could give up to 5 points for each criteria. And what was important to me was the time used for a total commuting time. The flexibility was important. Of course, the carbon dioxide emissions. And then we had things which were semi-important like punctuality and sustainability. And then a couple of things which were less important to me. Now we will have a look on the reference. The reference is commuting by car, and this will be the means of transportation which all other alternatives will be compared to. As you see, I'm commuting from home, a bit on a rural road, a little bit on the motorway, and to my workplace. This takes 22 minutes and is a total distance of 26.2 kilometers. The costs are approximately 11 euros for the car, meaning tea and wear, and the fuel cost plus 3 euros for the parking fee. And that will be equaling 5.6 kilograms of carbon dioxide emissions. I only calculated the carbon dioxide emissions which origin from the burning of the fuel. Actually, the production of the car also produces carbon dioxide, but that's very difficult to calculate. Anyhow, I decided that maybe that's not necessary. It is anyhow the highest figure you will get here, and all the other alternatives will be better. Then I put an S here, which means it's a datum, so everything which comes later will be compared to this alternative. The next logical step would be to use public transportation and compare it to driving with a car. So what I had to do, I had to walk to the bus stop, take the bus to the train station, change to the train, go to the city center, change to another bus, go to the final bus stop, and then walk to my job. That took me 1 hour 10 minutes, which was considerably more than taking the car. That's why -2. The punctuality was quite poor. In average, it took 12 minutes longer for this week I was trying. The flexibility was quite low because there were just 3 or 4 possibilities to go there. I paid 3 euros, which was less, of course. I had less carbon dioxide emission. That was the main purpose, just 1 kilo. My health was, yeah, well, sitting in the bus, people sneezing and coughing, not that good. Sustainability, I really felt that would be really hard to do for the rest of the year. The weather dependence, at some time I was actually standing outside might be not that good. So in average, the comfort was quite poor, I would say. For the next possibility to go to work, I had to explore the area a little bit. Going by bike actually required very different ways, and actually many of those streets and ways I have never been before, I have to admit, in all these years. And I was positively surprised how many bike lanes there were, how many dedicated ways for biking in the city center were. So it was really worth the exploring. In the end, I used my normal bike twice a day for a whole week, and in the end, it took me 1 hour 5 minutes, something around that, and you can see the Google Maps estimated it to 1 hour 2 minutes. So actually, it was pretty correct here. So the cost were much less. I estimated the cost of the bike and then assumed it would last for 10 years. After that, it was written off. Also, I was looking for the carbon dioxide emissions for the production of the bike, so they were, of course, almost zero. My health was significantly boosted. I felt an interesting effect that when I got to work in the morning, I was really alert and up to the task. That was really interesting to see. Sustainability, yes. At several days it was raining, and I anyway took the bike to work, and I didn't feel too much discomfort. I have to say. Of course, it could be improved, and if this will be the final solution, I think I will need some more weather protection clothing in some way. But in general, I think it was not too bad. Now, the last option, I borrowed an e-bike of a friend of mine and we're using it for a week, as all the other solutions. And to be honest, the difference to normal biking was not too big. It was more or less actually having superhuman powers, driving effortless through climbs and so on. That was quite positive in some way. I slashed the time uh, compared to biking with about 20 minutes, which is not bad. The costs are a little bit higher because electric bike cost more money. Also, carbon dioxide emissions are a little bit higher, but still quite low. And the rest, I would say, was almost in the same area. So, well, e-biking is a good candidate. And now the final comparison. As I mentioned before, this tool is called Basic Decision Matrix. It works like this. We have a reference, which was commuting by car, and then a couple of other opportunities. We also have a comparison between the reference and the individual concept here. And well, as you have seen, this -2 means it's worse than the reference. If you have plus, it's better than the reference. Then we have the weighting here. So we do a calculation, meaning 5 times -2 plus 4 times -1 plus 5 times -2 plus 2 times 1 plus 5 times 1 and so on. And then we have a final sum which then sums up to -38. So commuting by bus and train is massively worse than commuting by car. And that was actually my experience as well when I was commuting by bus and train. The bike was quite positive. It's slightly worse than the car, but I don't think it is it is really bad. The only thing is it takes some time, and the advantage here between the e-bike and the normal bike is that I actually save 40 minutes a day, and compared to the car, I approximately double my commuting time. But at the same time, I am working out I can do workout on an e-bike if I want to, and I have other advantages here. So in general, it is better than even the car. How is my personal subjective impression? It's different. And I would say it's at least equal, but yeah, well, okay, this one says slightly better. Yeah, I can agree with that. So what happens now? Next thing is I will find an e-bike, buy an e-bike, and use the e-bike. That would take some time, of course. So from next week, I will start with biking to work. And if I feel that it is hard to sustain because of the time which is used or and so on, I will at sometimes maybe take the car until the e-bike arrives. But then the plan is that I will only use the e-bike for work. There will be another video on that. I know this was a very lengthy video. I apologize for that. But for you who are here now, thank you very much for listening. And see you again in one of my other videos.